First of all, I've got to ask, in an evening of many, many, many highlights, what things stood out to you the most?
Oh my word! I loved the Imagined Village at the beginning. I thought it was absolutely fantastic, and of course Graham's involvement, totally adored as well. So yeah.
So tell us a bit about your involvement. How did you sort of approach getting involved? How did you choose the song?
My highlights were...
Actually, OK, we can do your highlights first.
I got phoned up by Vince and he said, how do you fancy giving an award? And I was like, oh yeah, OK. And he went, well, to Shirley Collins. And I was about flabbergasted, really. I was like, well, crikey, yeah. He said, but we'd like you to do a song as well. And I said, I'll phone you back in 2 hours when I've got off the floor. And got used to the idea. So that was it, really. And then I got into this writing, the speeches and things. And I've only given one other award. And that's to you, isn't it, yeah? At the Folk Awards.
Yeah.
So, and you weren't even there to get it. You were in the loo or talking to someone.
In the toilet. I'm very sorry. Still now, I have nightmares about that moment.
What happened?
It was magic.
I was in the toilet, and it was at the very first one. And he was giving me an award for Best Folk Singer, I think, and I wasn't there. And he was stood on his own, looking silly on stage. You weren't looking silly.
Well silly.
You were looking really cool. Not silly. No, I felt awful because I wasn't there. Yeah.
So, I mean, the folk scene is probably the wrong phrase. Folk music seems to be getting more and more exposure, seems to be getting, I don't know about more credibility, but basically there's the audiences are getting larger. I mean, there's been a lot of talk this evening of it's some kind of renaissance, the like of which hasn't been seen since maybe the 60s. Is that something that you feel as an artist?
I don't know, people say it every year, and I just think we're all still here just doing what we do, and trundling along, and people, the mainstream media, look into folk music every now and again and go, oh, it's really happening, this is happening and that's happening, but it's actually just going along as normal anyway, whether the mainstream media looks at it or whether it doesn't. So from my point of view, and being involved in folk festivals and seeing lots of young people playing and other people my age and beyond playing, it's just the normal scene for me that I've grown up in. So it's nothing special that's happening now, but of course it's special because it's continuing. That's the only thing that I just love about it, that it's in safe hands and it's going to continue, and we can see it all in the youngsters that are playing. So that's the special thing. I don't know if it's a renaissance, but it's special because it's continuing.
I mean, I think from sort of looking at the performances and nominees this evening, the diversity of the scene was just absolutely breathtaking. I mean, that was something that really sort of took me aback. I mean, do you feel with certain bands getting Mercury nominations and this kind of thing, do you sort of feel that folk is becoming more and more popular?
Well, I think acoustic music is getting more popular and it's kind of fashionable, but that's different, really. People very easily say, I think folk sometimes bulges into acoustic music and is known as that, but actually it kind of isn't. There's still a dividing line because folk music is folk music and it's traditional music, and it's something that's re-examined and replayed, whereas new music or new songs, and that includes acoustic music, is still something different. And I think that's fashionable, really, and I think that's where the misconception comes from, really. But yeah, I mean, the Imagined Village thing, I think what we've got to think about now as Britain, is different, and there are different cultures with their own folk music and their own traditions, their own sort of, instruments, and although we all dipped into it a bit funny in the 60s, now I think to really, it's all a bit the Monkees, whatever, to get a beatnik on the sitar on your record. Now it's like seriously kind of, I thought it was a good meld of stuff, that and it was such a powerful first performance tonight. And so that's good, although I'm a bit of a 60s freak, so I still love all that, the 60s stuff. And I've come to it a bit late, in a way. I haven't had it all my life, like some people are it's embedded, or they're embedded in it. And so I'm still discovering things that, you've probably known for yonks. And I'm like, whoa, this is, wow, look at that one, or listen to that. And so, yeah. But it does, it's just, it's a massive, huge long tree, isn't it? It's a big tree of staff.
And how was it seeing John Martin perform?
It was lovely. Really, really lovely. I've never actually... That's the first time I've seen him live. So it was a treat for me. Totally loved it.
I just interviewed him and he had the award on his head and just took the mickey for the whole time. It was fantastic.
I know. See, proper pro. Proper pro? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes
proper
sense.
pro.
Graham, fan, I presume?
Yeah, he did a good job of covering up his absolute chuffedness. I mean, you get that from his style. I mean, I love his first couple of albums, and you know, of course, I like the other stuff too. But you know, he's totally mischievous, isn't he?
Really?
He is, and I couldn't quite believe my ears. I can't quite believe my ears when he sings. When we were just watching him play, it's like his vocals have turned into sort of a brass instrument. I mean, it's like a widest vocal. It's like an amazing sound. Yeah, so I've never seen him play either, and I've only recently really explored that weirdly, but and annoyingly. But yeah, I sit there trying to play the 7 black roses and totally messing it up. But yeah, it's all brilliant.